Hi, and welcome to the Diamond Report for Sunday, July 30th, 2017. This is your host, Doug Diamond. This is the weekend edition. I'm going to call it the weekend edition because this is going to cover Friday, Saturday, and Sunday's worth of news. So I'm going to cover 3 days worth of news in just one day. So get ready. No, but this is going to be a little bit longer than normal, so my apologies. I was not able to do a Friday/Saturday show, which is what I like to do, Friday, Saturday together, Sunday, Monday together. So I thought I would just do Friday, Saturday, Sunday together, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it won't be too long. Anyway, let's jump right into the headlines. And according to a Muslim leader, Australian women need us, meaning Muslims, to fertilize them. White race will be extinct in 40 years. Well, that's Islam's goal, isn't it? To take over the world. Literally, to not only breed other races out of existence, but more importantly, to make sure there are no kafirs left. There will be no more terrorism at that point, I suppose, because there won't be anyone to terrorize, because everyone will have either converted to Islam or in process of being killed. A report says top FBI lawyer James A. Baker is under investigation for leaking classified info to the media. Baker definitely fits the profile of a deep state leaker. If this turns out to be true, he could be facing serious prison time. That's on Information Liberation. And from the Daily Caller, never should have trusted a reporter. Scaramucci responds to the New Yorker piece. I made a mistake in trusting in a reporter. It won't happen again, Scaramucci tweeted. Denmark-born Muslims, more angry, score higher on violence predictors than immigrants. That's on Breitbart. Trump says 3 Republicans and 48 Democrats let the American people down. Pat Buchanan asks, is Trump entering a kill box? We're headed for a collision between Trump and Mueller. 15-year-old UK rape victim raped again by her rescuer. Both attackers are, quote, Asian. Yeah, I bet. Mainstream media uses code word to hide rapists' descriptions. Well, there's your code word. They're calling them Asian. Does that make any Asian people out there upset? Trump visits New York to address the MS-13 gang violence. Pastor confirms plot to take out Trump is, quote, physical. Rodney Howard Brown warns of assassination attempt. Swedish shop refuses woman's service for not wearing hijab. Somalian shopkeeper enforces Sharia in Sweden. That's on Breitbart. Rand Paul says obscene Obamacare premiums will continue to skyrocket. Senator blames compliant big government Republicans for healthcare fail. What happened? Hillary's new book isn't out yet, but Twitter is already making fun of the title. Clinton detractors offer their own explanations for her downfall. Japan warns ships and planes may have been hit by intercontinental ballistic missile launched by North Korea. Spokesman for the Pentagon said they believe it was a ballistic missile that was launched. It's on the Daily Mail. Shadow government comes out of the shadows and calls for Trump's death. The elite are openly discussing taking out the POTUS. Never Trumpers go protectionist as Trump opens trade and opportunity. Hypocrite politicians tie Trump's hands on sanctions. Rand Paul says the failure to repeal Obamacare means premiums will continue to skyrocket. Insurers will continue to exit. The death spiral of Obamacare will continue. Are AI bots manipulating your mind? Social media sites using bots to target lonely people. Ghost train 60,000 bodies to be exhumed to make way for Britain's high-speed railway. Plan to construct a super-speed railway network will require demolition of historic cemetery. That's on RT. Finally, evidence of foreign influence revealed. Learn more about the biggest story not being covered by the mainstream media. That's from Leanne McAdoo. Second Amendment blues. Band refuses to disarm for concert. Musicians stand up for their rights at the House of Blues. Well, good for them. And now for this incredible story. Couple caught in, quote, financial spiral jump to their deaths. Our kids are upstairs. Please take care of them. This is reported on the New York Post, but I posted a Health Nut News story on this, and the husband of the couple here was a holistic doctor, a very well-known Manhattan holistic doctor, and he and his wife supposedly jumped to their deaths, and yet they had each separate typed suicide notes in Ziploc bags in their pockets. So my guess is they didn't actually jump to their deaths. They were probably pushed. But what do I know? I'm just a conspiracy analyst. Hillary gets trolled over What Happened book. The internet responded with typical savagery when Hillary released the title of her new book. Muslim mob beats people up for being white. Europe is being flooded with migrants who don't integrate well. Yes, and the saying is, immigration without assimilation is invasion. Terror in Germany. Religion of peace strikes again. Latest Islamic attack took place at a supermarket in Hamburg. Violent liberals trying to force the assassination of Americans. The left is relentlessly pushing for Trump to be taken out. What do you suppose will happen if and when Trump is actually taken out? Will there be partying in the streets? Will people be dancing in the streets, as the song goes? Is that what's going to happen? People will be taking to social media saying that this day, whatever day it is the greatest day in American history? Is that where we're at as a society? Because it sure sounds like it to me. Government is not God? Trump needs to tell Bundy judge. The Bundy family being held as political prisoners of the federal government. It's a story by David Knight. Huge DNC Muslim Brotherhood scandal ignored by the mainstream media. The media is ignoring one of the biggest stories in the country. Well, that's what they do best. DNC staffer subscribed to pedo-centric YouTube channels. IT aide for the Democratic Party watched very questionable videos. I think very questionable should be in quotes. Human trafficking sex ring busted, 13 victims rescued. Victims being sold for sex were only 15. My son is 15. Why the DC establishment hates Trump. Globalists know Trump will deliver on his campaign promises if they don't resist him. I think that's debatable. I think there's a part of him possibly that wants to deliver on some of those promises, but I think he's also tied into the system as well, and it may not actually happen, even if he was allowed to. Are cops posing as Uber drivers now? At least one strange incident in Brooklyn suggests the answer is yes. That's on Vice. Roger Stone exclusive. Rod Rosenstein was pushed by the dumbest member of Congress, Elijah Cummings. The truth behind the Deputy Attorney General under Sessions. Robert Mueller's role in the Clinton scheme to sell 20% of U.S. uranium to Russia. Special Counselor Mueller, a Clinton Foundation criminal fixer in Uranium One scam. French president announces plan to create migrant screening centers in Libya. Macron claims economic migrants might be rejected. EU court indicates it will rule against anti-migrant countries in legal battle. Court advisor rejects arguments by Hungary and Slovakia. Of course they do, because no countries that are in the EU will be allowed to turn down migrants, refugees, quote unquote. Rush Limbaugh says the deep state could be recruiting retired generals to lead military coup. Desperate establishment prepared to overthrow Trump at all costs. Shock video. Massive migrant settlement outside courthouses in major California sanctuary city. Tent city allowed to swell in Orange County Government Center. Breaking. White House Chief of Staff Reince Priebus out. DHS head Kelly in. Resigns amid fury of leaks threatening administration. Again, why would Trump put Priebus in there to begin with? I mean, really. J.K. Rowling lies. Claims Trump ignored disabled boy in wheelchair. Fact check. Trump spent most time out of anyone with the kid. Yeah, but it doesn't count because it was Donald Trump. Why the media hates Scaramucci. The mainstream media is freaking out over Trump's new communications director. InfoWars host Roger Stone predicted that General Kelly would replace Reince Priebus. President Trump announces removal of Priebus following InfoWars prediction. Experts warn North Korea capable of striking U.S. mainland after ICBM test. Targets as far as New York City and Washington, D.C. may now be within range. Well, can they reach it or can they not? I guess we have to nuke them just to make sure they can't, right? I mean, that's what the military-industrial complex and the mainstream media complex would have us believe. Your organic milk may be produced with non-organic ingredients. Well, that's very true. We talk about organic milk and raw milk all the time on Lost Arts Radio, lostartsradio.com. North Korea hacking increasingly focused on making money more than espionage, according to a South Korea study. Economy expands at faster 2.6% pace. Business investment increased at a 5.2% rate. Massachusetts governor signs bill to allow recreational pot. Intelligence chairman accuses Obama aides of hundreds of unmasking requests. That's on the Hill. Nuclear workers call for congressional investigations after charges from Labor Department whistleblower. Whistleblower says the DOL officials intentionally delayed or denied payments in the hopes claimants will die. Apple is removing VPN services from China app, according to providers. VPNs allow users to bypass China's so-called Great Firewall. Young Democrats wonder if there's a future within their party. I don't think there's a future within either party, because they're both the same party, the globalist party, at least at the national level. Obama official made hundreds of unmasking requests, GOP chairman says. Hashtag Charlie Gard, treated worse than a dog, dies. I saw this headline, I think it was yesterday, and I was really sad. British medical system would not allow the family to seek experimental treatment in the U.S. Charlie Gard has passed away. Britain surrenders to New World Order agenda. UK moves to restrict freedom of movement. Is America next? I think we're supposed to be next. Whether or not we will be remains to be seen. Trump says we will find, arrest, jail, and deport every gang member and criminal alien. That's on the Washington Free Beacon. That is not something the New World Order wants to hear, because we're supposed to drop our borders and let them all come in. Reince Priebus says, I resigned yesterday. Trump wanted to go a different direction. Accusations I'm a leaker is, quote, ridiculous. This is not like a situation where there's a bunch of ill will feelings. That's on Breitbart. Yeah, I bet. Head of Cambridge University Equality Group says all white people are racist. Heaps praise on London rioters in shocking Twitter outburst. My guess is that whoever this person is probably white himself or herself. London mayor's threat to derail Brexit. Leftists freak out on Twitter over Trump's police brutality joke. GQ's Keith Olbermann, a vocal opponent of Trump, was one of the first to attack him. McCain burns down America and the GOP. John McCain ensures Obamacare disaster continues. Thanks, John McCain. Looks like your brain tumor really made you think clearly, didn't it? Donald Trump to sign Russia sanctions bill. Moscow retaliates. See, this is one of those things that I think Trump is definitely on the wrong side of. Putting sanctions on Russia is not going to help our relationship with Russia by any stretch. And in the long run here, we could be looking at war because of this. Senate Republicans look like fools. Trump urges end to filibuster, claims Russia was against him in 2016. That's on Zero Hedge. LED light bulb flicker rate could be giving us headaches, expert warns. Can bring on feelings of dizziness and pain within just 20 minutes of switching them on. Brazil deploys 8,500 armed forces in Rio. Iran says U.S. Navy vessel fired warning shots. Incident comes days after a similar incident in the Persian Gulf. Cyberbullies celebrate death of female hunter. Female hunter Melania Capitan cyberbullied even after suicide. From Mark Dice, watch Wolf Blitzer admits CNN's sources suck. While InfoWars correctly predicted Priebus's ouster, CNN got it completely wrong. Saturday rampage, Trump unloads on Republicans after healthcare bill fail. Hamburg supermarket attacker was known Islamist. The man, a failed asylum seeker born in the UAE, attacked customers at random on Friday. London Bridge terrorist worked as a teacher in an Islamic primary school. He radicalized children as young as 4. It's your money, but you can't have it. EU proposes account freezes to halt bank runs. The EU banking system is insolvent. It is, and that is not looking good. Not being stupid is cognitive privilege now. Trump threatens to end Obamacare payments unless repeal passes. U.S. Air Force unleashes supersonic bombers in North Korea nuke drill. It's claimed Trump is poised to launch a military strike against the rogue state. Let's hope not, but I can't help but believe that's probably true. Putin shows off Russia's naval might with major parade. China reveals terrifying military weapons with vast parade. These people love their parades, don't they? North Korea just did that too not too long ago. Iran rules out halt to missile tests as tension with U.S. rises. InfoWars broke the story in April, how Trump can bankrupt Obamacare with the stroke of a pen. I remember reporting on that then. Spies who transferred nukes to North Korea discovered. Jones reports from missile base tasked with protecting U.S. mainland. Venezuelan officials killed as voting starts. 39-year-old lawyer running an election was shot in his home on Saturday. Tommy Robinson, the truth about the Quran, religion of peace exposed. Yeah, we talk about Islam and the Quran and the Sirah and the Hadith at length with our special guest, Dr. Bill Warner, many times on Lost Arts Radio, lostartsradio.com. Dr. Bill Warner is on the Alex Jones Show pretty often, and he's been a guest on our show a number of times. And he's the best source I know of when it comes to understanding Islam and what it's really about. U.S. THAAD missile hits test target amid growing pressure from North Korea. U.S. shot down medium-range target ballistic missile. And a John Bound report, Qatar, or some people say Qatar, gives the U.S. the finger. Gulf nation has financed terrorism and has ties to Islamic extremist groups. Like we don't. So does the U.S., folks. Governments and corporations can unleash deadly weapons on our population. Our greatest danger is denial that such things are possible. That's on shtfplan.com. U.S. orders Venezuela embassy families out as crisis showdown arrives. That's on Zero Hedge. Russia retaliates, orders U.S. to cut diplomatic staff, seizes 2 compounds. Global markets and futures slide, spooked by poor Amazon earnings in U.S. politics. That's on Zero Hedge. 16 facts that prove America is in deep, deep trouble. That's from Michael Snyder. 3 Republicans and 48 Democrats let the American people down. Humiliated Trump tweets after cancer-stricken McCain hands him a defeat by voting against skinny repeal of Obamacare. Well, that's just what McCain does. They probably patched him back together so he could go vote that way. Pure madness. Macron's plan to put up thousands of migrants in government-bought hotels across France is met with backlash because towns can't cope as 600 return to Calais. Oligarchy is coming. Macron faces nightmare political clashes as he plummets in the polls. Yeah, but he's still in favor with those in charge of the world. He is a globalist, so he will remain in power. He's not going anywhere. We'll beat you. EU, an unbelievable goading of Trump as it encourages U.S. versus EU trade war. The elites are jumping ship as the financial collapse draws near. That one's on shtfplan.com. GOP rep blasts head of the swamp McConnell, demands he step down over Obamacare repeal failure. That's on the Gateway Pundit. Gingrich sets the record straight on NPR. Left-wing Justice Department's special counsel Mueller has hired anti-Trump killers. That's on Breitbart. Ireland must leave the EU. Demands for Ire exit as border row escalates. We had a wonderful life. Mother and father jumped to their deaths because they can't afford health care, leaving their children behind in Manhattan office building. That is such a load of BS. That entire story is a lie. These people were killed. Moscow not ruling out any measures to bring U.S. to its senses. That's on RT. Good luck with that, Moscow. From Natural News, why black pastors are suing Coca-Cola. More brothers killed by sweets than the streets. California Deputy Attorney Joseph Liddy arrested in Pizzagate bust. Bezos becomes world's richest man as whistleblower exposes NSA and CIA collusion with Amazon. Yeah, well, he may be the world's richest man on paper, but that's not accounting for the Rothschilds and all of those wealthy trillionaire type families. And that's not accounting for Vladimir Putin, who's worth reportedly more than Bezos and Bill Gates combined. Judge slams incompetent cops after SWAT raids innocent family for growing tomato plants. John McCain gets savaged on Twitter after blocking Obamacare repeal. That's on the Gateway Pundit. Sort of surprising. Usually Twitter is all for Obamacare. Anything Obama, actually. Pope Francis says GMOs are approved by the Catholic Church. Wasserman Schultz goes into hiding after detective links her to murder. One dead as man drives vehicle into crowd in Helsinki. That's on the Express. And where did they learn that from? ISIS? Experts warn robots are growing in consciousness and should be classified as an invasive species. That's on Natural News. Hundreds of teens are committing suicide because they're told to do so in sickening blue whale challenge. Apparently a Russian internet game, the Blue Whale Challenge. From Sputnik News, unacceptable damage. What if U.S. launched nuclear strike on China? Japan believes North Korea launched ICBM in violation of UNSC resolutions. That's on Sputnik News. Desperate Americans are saving the least since the start of the last two recessions. It's on Zero Hedge. Congress wants to start a war with Russia using Senate Bill 722. That's on Freedom Outpost. Mask off. Survivors say ISIS jihadis demanded renounce Christ. They refuse and slaughtered 29 Christians. From Mike Adams on Natural News, Food Wisdom, how to avoid GMOs and toxic herbicides, which would be glyphosate primarily. The Pentagon is actively poisoning Americans across the U.S. and it's 100% legal. That's on Activist Post. Wells Fargo also defrauded 800,000 car loan customers and stole 25,000 cars. The globalist one world currency will look a lot like Bitcoin. That's on alt-market.com. Weaponizing viruses? U.S. Air Force places ad for biosamples from Russians. That's on RT. Our beautiful little boy is gone. Parents heartbreak as baby Charlie Gard dies. Alex Jones warns of Trump assassination threat. Quote, they're going to blow him and his family up. They want them all. That's on shtfplan.com. Wasserman Schultz is the key to putting Hillary in prison. That's from Dave Hodges. Well, don't hold your breath. Trump's loyal soldier, President's new Chief of Staff John Kelly will bring military rigor to the White House after losing his Marine son in Afghanistan and leading U.S. forces in Iraq. Largest sex trafficking ring in western U.S. busted. Children openly sold in plain sight. That's the U.S., folks. Fire destroys Vesuvius Park as soaring temperatures cause blazes to spread across Italy. According to Pew Research, Israel orchestrated the 9/11 attacks to spread Islamophobia. I think that was part of the equation, but not all of it. And on Natural News, Melinda Gates makes a $375 million donation to the abortion industry to accelerate depopulation of blacks. Elon Musk, or as I call him, Eloy Morlock, totally fabricates absurd claim that he has verbal approval to build massive underground transportation infrastructure in 5 East Coast cities. That's on Natural News. Dramatic moment, North Korea missile crashes off coast of Japan, and it could reach London. Trump's nuke apocalypse, total war only outcome if U.S. delivers on threat to Kim. New Russian sanctions bill is Washington's monument to its criminality. War is in the cards. That's from Paul Craig Roberts. Mainstream media caught exploiting children in PSYOP to sell war to America. It worked. Democrat Muslim IT spy ring sent sensitive intel to the Muslim Brotherhood. That's on Freedom Outpost. Putin to save Venezuela, CIA scrambling to stop deal. That's by Dave Hodges. And another one from Dave Hodges, Chinese 5th column in Colorado, why? Are Chipotle's foodborne illnesses actually false flag attacks designed to reap huge profits? Donald Trump will attack weapons site in North Korea within the next year after communist state said it had successfully fired a ballistic missile. That's on the Daily Mail. Our army is bigger than yours. China, Russia, and NATO forces put on a huge show of strength as the world's powers flex their military muscles. End of the EU. Wave of populism takes over bloc as Austria and Italy prepare for elections. We should be very worried. North Korea expert warns of Kim Jong-un's nuclear capability. It's on the Express. Bolivian president calls U.S. threat to international law, UN, over unilateral Russia sanctions. That's on RT. They do nothing for us. Donald Trump threatens China for inactivity over North Korea. That's on the Express. Iceland could be about to experience a major volcanic eruption. That's on shtfplan.com. There are people who want to be microchipped. Traces of cocaine in pharaohs prove Egyptians beat Columbus to the Americas. Also proves that our history, as we've been told it, is totally wrong on purpose. Hackers demonstrate how to take over electronic voting machines within minutes. Family heartbroken as cops shoot and kill puppy while raiding the house next door. Rising rates causing chaos, dangerous territory. That's from Michael Pinto, but with Greg Hunter on USAWatchdog.com. Operation Mockingbird on steroids. CGI allows mainstream media to make fake news in real time. Obama operating secret war room 2 miles from the White House to destroy Trump. That's on the Gateway Pundit. Shock claim Seth Rich leaked DNC emails to Russian lawyer 1 month before his murder. That's on the Gateway Pundit. Republican senators prove to America they are nothing but filthy liars. That they are. But so are the Dems. Gun-controlled Chicago exceeds 400 homicides in 2017. That's on Breitbart. So much for gun control, right? It really works, doesn't it? It disarms the victims. Obama holdovers in D.C. are scrubbing evidence of ISIS genocide against Christians. Physician-assisted suicide now legal in Washington, D.C. It's on Natural News. Revealed Amazon is under federal investigation for selling goods to someone on the terrorism list and possible U.S. sanctions violations. Well, that might be, but they're Amazon, so therefore they can get away with it. You watch. Nothing will come of that. Trump urges Republicans not to give up on Senate healthcare standoff and tells them to take the nuke option because the world is watching. 2 dead and 3 fight for their lives as an attacker with a machine gun opens fire in German nightclub before he is slain by the police. Let me guess, he was, quote, Asian too, right? Right, mainstream media? 4 terror suspects arrested in plot to bomb a plane over Sydney after police break up an Islamist cell in raids across the city as security is boosted at airports around the country. The feds are terrified of cryptocurrencies, but they're powerless to stop them. That's on the Anti-Media and Zero Hedge. The chaos is spreading around the world and it's coming to your doorstep. That's on the Daily Coin. And on Prepper Fortress, is martial law coming to the U.S.? All the signs indicate it's coming soon. Here are the facts that you should know about. Explosion rocks Caracas and injures cops as Venezuela votes. That's on Zero Hedge. And from Natural News, public school teachers using gender unicorn to teach children that binary gender is a fictional construct. Huh? Yeah, that is odd. I noticed the other day that they have a unicorn on cans of Dr. Pepper now. You suppose that's tied into this gender unicorn idea? Treason. Hillary and Robert Mueller both sold uranium to Putin. That's from Dave Hodges. UN Ambassador Haley warns America is done talking about North Korea. That's on Zero Hedge. Quote, it's time to retaliate. Putin expels 755 U.S. diplomats. That's on Zero Hedge. Well, you know, when they start sending the diplomats packing, something is about to happen. And you throw in the sanctions against Russia, and you got a pretty lethal mixture. Okay, and just take a look at a few earthquakes with me here. I've got this new version of Earthquake 3D. This one's even branded. See down here at the bottom it says the Diamond Report. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, what we've got going on here is we're looking at the last 48 hours worth of earthquakes globally. The dark red rings are the older quakes. The white rings or cream-colored rings are the newer quakes. And of significance, we definitely needed to mention the magnitude 5.0 quake that happened off the coast of California. It's very northern California, actually. Magnitude 5 that happened there, that's going to transfer pressure across the U.S., across the North American craton, the edge of the craton that we talk about so much. And we will definitely be seeing some ramifications from that in the coming days. And in fact, we've already seen a magnitude 3 out here in Oklahoma, which is not very large, but you know, we're going to see increased pressure transferring across that edge of the North American craton for sure. And then in addition to the 5.0, I wanted to mention this magnitude 6 that happened off the coast of, well, off the extreme northern end of Japan, magnitude 6. That just happened today, actually, at 4 p.m. Central. So this magnitude 6 is a direct result of some of these other deeper quakes in the area. Most likely, it's probably a direct result from this magnitude 4 right here that you'll see sticking way off the planet here. That's a deep quake. And deep quakes almost always result in shallow, larger movement in an adjacent silent zone. And when you predict these things, basically you just take the depth. So if you got something that happens that's over 200 kilometers deep, that is a deep quake, and you just tack on a magnitude or 2 above that deep quake. And so this one's a deep 4.0, so you're looking for a 5 to 6.0 in an adjacent silent zone, and that's what we had happen right here. Magnitude 6.0, shallow, larger movement in an adjacent silent zone right next to this magnitude 4 that happened before the magnitude 6 did. And as you can see, we've got quite a few deep quakes that we're looking at that are sticking up off the planet here. Most of them are in the West Pacific. That seems to be where the action all starts. It starts in the West Pacific, and it transfers around the planet. It goes eastward across the Ring of Fire, or I should say around the Ring of Fire, and then eventually hits the western U.S., and that transfers pressure across the North American craton edge, across the U.S. from the west coast to the east coast, and at the same time it also excites pressure to be transferred from the western Pacific westward across Indonesia, and then eventually Asia and the Middle East, and then into Europe. And it loses pressure. It loses a little bit of pressure as it goes eastward, usually. So if you have the larger quakes out here in the west, and that it loses a magnitude or 2 as it goes from from east to west in that case. We do have a magnitude 5 out here in western Africa. That's actually a point where we see earthquakes terminate pretty often. So that is not unusual at all. And South America is pretty much always active as far as Chile especially, and then central Peru and even Colombia and Ecuador are pretty active places as well. So none of that is out of the unusual. Central America is always highly active as well. And I would say for the most part, this looks all pretty normal from a weekly standpoint as far as earthquakes and pressure going from one place to another. So anyway, that's all I had for the earthquake update today. And that's it for the Diamond Report today. Sorry it was so long, but we did have 3 days worth of news to cover. So anyway, thanks a lot for listening and watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.